Hey everyone, we've got some exciting news. Deel has officially launched our Future of Work Advisory Board. At Deel, we're all about making global hiring and payroll easy, and now we've teamed up with an amazing group of former policymakers and regulators to help shape our approach as we take things to the next level. We meet regularly to dive into the latest trends in work and employment, staying ahead of what's coming next, and driving continued innovation. So now let's meet the advisory board and find out why they've decided to join us on this journey.
My whole career has been trying to build opportunity for small and medium-sized businesses. The services that Deel provides, an emerging new business that wants to do something global, this is exactly what they need. And I am so excited to be part of that journey for small and medium-sized businesses so that they can access the international marketplace. It's all about growing American exceptionalism and American business.
So I think workers are better off when employers have human resource systems that build in compliance and also provide workers with the help they need to solve problems. And I'm eager to learn how Deel does that and to help them to do it a lot better. Also, I want to make sure that workers have the opportunity to use their skills and talents wherever they're needed in the world, and Deel's efforts to help workers move across borders, I think, are critically important to that success. So I'm looking forward to contributing.
As a former Secretary of Labor, one of the most common complaints and concerns that I heard about, not only while I was Secretary, but throughout my whole career, was how difficult sometimes the human resource function can be. And yet we're in an era of globalization where labor is mobile and human talent is really the determining factor in an enterprise's success.
I was honored to be invited to serve alongside such an esteemed group of advisors and work with the talented team that the founders of Deel put together. As a former regulator, I was impressed with the emphasis that Deel places on compliance and audit, and I look forward to drawing on my experience as a financial regulator to help the team navigate the complex rules and regs associated with money transmission and audit, both here in the U.S. and abroad.
I think that one of the changes that we don't talk enough about is the change in workers' expectations. What does work away from a business place look like? What does opportunities to raise a family and still be in the workplace? And it's all about flexibility. It's about digitizing, using the tools that we have, whether it's AI or whether it is the services that Deel provides. And so I think the workforce is changing, the interest of the workers is changing, and you have to have a dynamic company like Deel in order to meet those changes going forward.
Technology is going to continue to be a driving force in changes in employment, expansion in employment, a recreation of employment, and artificial intelligence, no doubt, is going to play a huge role in the workplace for years to come. But I would argue that climate change is going to play a tremendous role. It's going to accelerate migration. It's going to drive invention and innovation. And it's also going to force those of us who are in the global north to focus more closely on the issues of the global south, where climate change is going to hit worst. So I think that climate change in the workplace, in the recreation of workplaces, and the redesign of workplaces is going to be critical.
I think COVID has had a tremendous influence. We are seeing a greater concern about flexibility and freedom in wanting to do work in a way that the individual worker desires. Each country is no longer a pool unto itself, and how to attract, identify, and retain that labor becomes very important. So as of now, we're still seeing that the labor participation rate, not only in the United States, but throughout the world, is actually lower still than what it was pre-COVID. So what this means is that workers are going to want to work the way they want to. They want greater flexibility, greater autonomy, greater freedom, and also they want a better work-life balance. And that's the big challenge facing employers. Some of these asks are adaptable to certain industries, others are not.
Work is becoming more and more borderless. Globalization of the workforce via remote and international workers is shaping the future of work, but I believe asynchronous technology is changing how we work. To compete globally, companies need to build operations and teams in expansion markets and hire the best talent for those markets wherever the talent is located. Along with global business growth comes the need to prioritize global compliance and adapt to many and constantly changing regulations.
The most important thing that government can do is lower the barriers to entry. When you think about a small business that has a great idea in my state of North Dakota, and you think about how do they understand what the opportunities are globally. And so one of the things that I've done in the past is I've chaired the XM Advisory Board, which has been a critical piece of infrastructure in terms of expanding access to global markets for small business. So what I would say for those businesses who want to expand, who want to look at international growth, there should be an all of government approach. So you don't have to go, to the Department of Commerce, the Department of Labor, the XM Bank, the Department of the Treasury. There should be one-stop shopping for those small businesses so that they can access global markets and build on their good idea, not just in this country, but also globally.
Business growth depends on innovation, and innovation depends on people. So we want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to get an excellent education, the skills that they need, but also the ability to participate in creating businesses, inventing, getting patents. And that's not just for people who happen to have the good fortune to be born in the United States. We need to include everyone wherever they have the opportunity to grow up in the world. So we need to be able to welcome innovators from around the world, and we need to make sure that everyone at home, regardless of the happenstance of their birth, has access to education, access to skills, access to capital, so that they can create the great businesses of the future.
The U.S. government, like all governments, can help a great deal if they just do no harm. And so for entrepreneurial and creative societies and economies, that basically means a reasonable low tax rate, less overly burdensome, cumbersome, unreasonable regulations, regulatory emphasis through taxation, through monetary policy, and also through national security. The government can increase or encourage the development of more vibrant economies. But what is the proper way to regulate? I think that takes a little bit more thought and possibly great more information that we don't have as yet.
I'm a huge proponent of education and skills training. A community college campus in our local industrial park houses an advanced technology training center that's utilized by business and industry in the area for worker training. I became aware of this when my son, who is a software engineer for a global manufacturing company, took a robotics course there. This program is funded through a grant by the U.S. Department of Labor, and I think it's a great example of how the government can help train our youth and upskill our current workforce. Programs like this are a win-win. They provide specific training for employees and encourage businesses and industry to operate and locate in Mississippi. The key to the success of these programs, though, you just have to make sure that they remain relevant and stay updated to what the needs are of employees now and employers in the future.